us are following us, we've been in a series for Advent called Unexpected Guest. And the idea was, like the holidays kind of hold at times, especially in the more comical of Christmas movies, people showing up unexpected, and it tends to cause a disruption in the sort of planning. And I can just think of Beverly D'Angelo's character in Christmas Vacation saying, "Of course we have room." And that sort of idea, we focused on the angels' visitations to each of the people who angels visited in different ways leading up to the Christmas story. We looked at angels appearing to Zechariah and Mary and Joseph, and then to the shepherds, which is after Jesus is born, but looking at the way that these angels showed up in unexpected ways. Every time they show up, it's bringing this good news. They're always saying, "Don't be afraid." And yet, they're always disrupting everything. And I'll be honest, I feel a bit emotional as I come up tonight. Christmas and Advent tend to be a really sacred time that I feel like I have a sort of like connect-disconnect relationship with. I'll wake up a lot of times and think, oh yeah, it's that season. And other times it's just this sweet spot that it's just kind of there. And as we look at this theme of someone showing up and changing our lives, but first disrupting our lives and then changing our lives, I think about a different angle on this. And angels, have you ever been the unexpected guest? Not the person hosting who somebody shows up unexpectedly and you think, oh no, but the person who is coming to someone else's home and they don't have a place for you. I can remember a family trip and showing up, and we thought we had one set of arrangements in the home, and we did not. And it was sort of like everything got scrambled together, like, well, this person can stay on this couch, and then that person can stay on that couch, and somebody can sleep on the floor. We have a really comfortable sleeping bag. If you've ever been the unexpected guest showing up at somebody else's doorstep, you know the kind of vulnerability that sets in. It's like you show up and you have no place. And so this Christmas Eve, I'm really conscious as I think about our message tonight of the plenty of people who have no place in our world. I'm not naive enough to think that none of them are here. But the people who have no place in this world, the unhoused, the sick, the grieving, the hungry, the poor, the vulnerable. In each heart tonight, I imagine there's some part of you that feels like it has no place. And I want to share tonight where that's a gift. One of my favorite Christmas stories, and now Christmas movies, is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. If you grew up going to church, it's wildly hilarious. Because the story is, who are called in the story the worst kids in the history of the world, who blow things up and get in trouble all the time, and whose parents are never around, and who the kind of state welfare office is always checking on, wind up showing up to church in time for the Christmas pageant and decide they want to take it over. But they've never heard the Christmas story before. And so through the story, they just encounter the different elements of the Christmas story. And part of it is hilarious. Like when they find out that King Herod wants to kill Jesus, they're like, we'll go take him down. Who's going to play Herod in our pageant? And, everybody's looking around like, please no, not me, because there's some violence to these kids. But when they get to the moment, there's this like kind of encounter with the Spirit. And each one of them enters into the Christmas story in this unique way. And what happens in the story that's beautiful is they wind up portraying the Christmas story to all these people who've seen it for years and years and years and who are bored with it in this fresh and living way. And that's what I hope to do tonight. Because when we talk about people who have no place in this world, let's not mistake that we're talking about Jesus. Tonight we remember the ultimate unexpected and uninvited guest, Jesus. Because Jesus shows up, and this is what we remember in Advent. This is what we look forward to in Advent. This is what we remember on Christmas, is that Jesus came to us to change us, to change things, to change this world, to disrupt it and change it. But as he comes to change the world, you'll notice he comes in need, vulnerable, with no place. So if you're hoping for like the nice version of the Christmas Eve service, I'm sorry. The sort of quaint, we sing our few songs and there's a nice message about hope for the world and peace, and we'll light our candles and then we can all forget about it and get on with the important part of the night, which is the Christmas Eve dinner and the opening of presents and all of that. But see, Jesus, I think, shows up to disrupt our nice and neat and polite and sweet service. And he does that to get to our hearts. He does that because he is actually interested in not just sort of being, like the little plastic piece in the corner of a room, but in the centrality of your heart. Because when God comes, God does not come to bless the status quo and say, keep doing things as you were. It's going great for you, by the way. No, when God comes into this world, he comes vulnerable. Because God sees the hurt and the pain and the sadness and the disconnect that our world holds. But God also, when he comes to the world, he doesn't come to judge. What we see in Jesus is that when God comes into the world, it is to be with, and it is to love. So I love this quote by Win Collier that Jerry Lynn actually shared with me. And it says this: if our vision of God is not love from top to bottom, then we're not dealing with the true God. And if our vision of God's love does not also include lightning, then it's not the true God we're imagining. God is love, unbounded, scandalous, transgressive. But we're fooling ourselves if we think this love is quaint or tidy, or that we can always be assured of what this love will do or how this love shows up. And I love that because it says God is love, and love comes near. And so God comes to us in love, but it's also lightning. It is marvelous and tremendous and powerful. And there's a sense of, if I get too close to it, I'm going to get hurt. It's not safe. So the love of God that comes in Jesus is not the sort of nice, neat, polished, shiny love of the nativity scene. I love nativity scenes, so it's hurting my heart to take something out on them. But it's not the kind of nice, polite, neat scene. It's the real, messy, present love. Because God is not a God who comes to us in a box. Right? God comes to us in a manger. One of the best moments of the best Christmas pageant ever, the story, is when they get to that part and somebody says, "What's a manger?" And they say, "Well, it's like where you put like hay and straw to feed animals." And they're like, "Why didn't they put him in a bed?" It's like, well, there wasn't any place. What would you do if you didn't have room? And they're like, "Yeah, we put our baby sister in the bureau drawer." Right? Like they got it. It is a real and messy and present love. And so we have to remember Jesus' birth is not the nice, sanitized moment that we so often want it to be. Mary is an unwed, pregnant teen. Joseph is a hardworking handyman who has lost his good reputation. They are poor travelers with nowhere to go, nowhere to land, no connections, no traveler's checks. In fact, at the end of the Christmas story, their bonus for this wonderful moment is that they'll become refugees. And a vulnerable baby is born and placed in an animal's feeding trough. And so Jesus' birth, in one sense, is this kind of unremarkable tragedy, right? There's a family who has a baby, and we'll see if they make it. This is like many of the unremarkable tragedies that go on in our world, where there's a couple who's trying to make it with a baby. And yet the gift of Christmas is that it's also the miracle of incarnation, that God is with us. And if God is with us in the messy moment, then God is with us in every moment. And so we encounter the Christmas story, this wonderful moment in Luke chapter 2, where it says, "In those days a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered." This was the first registration taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged, and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place in the guest room. Your translation may say, there was no room at the inn. Let us sink in, there's no room. They were the unexpected guests. Now, it's probably not like a stable or like a cave, but probably where they were was sort of the open space in a person's home where they let animals come in to be protected from the elements. But very much open space, not in a room, second thought. So it speaks to the chaos of the moment and the rejection that they experienced. I imagine there was a time that somebody said, if we had only known who was coming. If we had only known who it was that was the unwed pregnant teen mom. If we had only known who this baby was, who was going to be born. But we miss it, right? We get distracted. Distracted by lights, distracted by world events, distracted by the chaos of the moment. And so we miss the extraordinary happening before us right in the ordinary. And let me say it, we so often miss you. We miss you who are hurting. We miss you who are grieving. We miss you who are trying to hold things together for this moment. We miss you who are here among us right now. We miss you. If you're wondering or confused or lonely, so often we miss you. And so 2 things from the Christmas story that I hope come home to you today in some way. One is, if you're feeling like you don't have a place, some part of you does not have a place, there was no room for Jesus either. Jesus came into a world that did not receive him. He was not welcomed. He did not have a home. He was despised and rejected. So you're in good company. The second thing is that Jesus came to be with you. He sees you. He knows you. And he knows what it is to be unseen and unnoticed and missed by this world. I love the way that Thomas Merton says it. Let these words just sit with you. But he says, into this world, this demented inn, in which there is absolutely no room for him at all, Christ comes uninvited. But because he cannot be at home in it, because he is out of place in it, and yet he must be in it, his place is with the others for whom there is no room. His place is with those who do not belong, who are rejected by power because they are regarded as weak, those who are discredited, who are denied status of persons, who are tortured, bombed, and exterminated. With those for whom there is no room, Christ is present in this world. See, Jesus comes uninvited, unexpected, no place, no room, and so he seeks out those with no place. He seeks out those who do not belong either. And let's just be real honest, that's us in this room. And it's many people outside these walls. And so the invitation tonight, this Christmas Eve, is, will you enter into that vulnerable space within? Will you enter into the vulnerable part of your heart to receive the Christ child? The place where there is no room, where Christ comes. Will you receive the Christ child, the light coming into the world? And let Christ's love be present to you. And will you let this light shine through you tonight and each night to share Christ's love for you? In a moment, we'll celebrate this by lighting candles. But I want to read where this kind of tradition comes from. As we wait for Jesus, we go to the beginning of John's gospel, where John says this, going all the way back to creation. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness could not grasp it. And let's be honest, days are dark. But we gather tonight to remember that into the darkness light shines. And that's the hope. That's the hope. The hope is not in all the traditions and rituals, as wonderful as they are. The hope is that into life's messy moment, into the worst of moments, into the most vulnerable of moments, the light shines in the darkness. And the darkness couldn't grasp it. The darkness couldn't get its clutches on it, couldn't quite get a hold of it. The darkness could not understand it or contain it or overcome it. And so in a moment, as we hold our candles, what we are remembering is that darkness will be present, but a light will shine. And that light will look brighter the darker that it is. And the light will be shared. The light will be passed from person to person until it lights the whole room. This is the hope of Christmas. That the light comes to you right now in your moment. Comes to me in my moment. And I can receive that light and I can pass it on. John goes on in his gospel to say it this way and kind of bring things full circle. He says, the true light which enlightens everyone, emphasis on the everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of God. And we come back to the tragic moment that there's no room at the inn. That Jesus is the unexpected guest with no place to go. No one accepts him, no one receives him, no one makes space for him, not even his own people. No one recognizes the gift that is before them. Except those who did. Except those who did. The unwed teen mom. The overworked handyman with a bad reputation. The shepherds who smelled and who were disdained by the rest of society. Foreigners. These are the people gathered around in your nativity scene. They are the least, the last, and the lost. They are not the people we would invite to our Christmas dinner. And yet they are the ones who recognized not only Jesus, because they saw Jesus as God coming to be with them, as the love of God breaking through, the light shining in the darkness. But they recognized not only Jesus, but their own identity as God's beloved children. And so here's the invitation tonight from your unexpected guest, Jesus. If we go to the end of the Bible in the book of Revelation, Chapter 3, verse 20. None of the weird stuff. Jesus says this. Listen, I'm standing at the door knocking. If you hear my voice and open the door, I'll come in and eat with you, and you with me. Do you have room? Do you have a place? And in that place, God's love touches the vulnerable part of you. The light will shine in the dark, destitute places. And so tonight, my hope is that you receive the light shining in the darkness, the light shining on you. Let the light open your eyes to those around you who need light. Share the light so all can know the love of God that comes near to them, that comes near to the messy moments. Open your door tonight to receive Jesus, the unexpected guest, and to recognize who you are, the beloved child of God. If you will, go ahead and rise, and the band will come back out. I'm going to say a prayer for Christmas Eve, and then I'll invite you to come forward. So pray with me, please. God, you who are unexpected, come to be near us. You surprise us. But you meet us in our moments where we are most vulnerable, where we most need you. Help us engage that part of our hearts tonight. And let your light shine to illuminate us. Let us pass your light on to others. May we know your love that is never content to rest in the status quo. Your love that was rejected and so accepts rejects. Your love that was uninvited and so invites all of us. Your love that was broken and so it heals. Your love that had no place in this world, and so you make places for all of us. Heal our hearts tonight and give us peace, we pray, in your name, Jesus. Amen. As you come forward, please receive communion. You can pick up a package of communion and a candle on your way on each side. Return to your seat. Receive Jesus through communion, and we'll light candles after the music.